welcome to the big 160, folks, the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast. My name is John.
My name is Jimmy.
Ooh, we got a lot to talk about. I was saying this before we got on air here. This is almost an intimidating episode to go into. There's so much to go over. We got Gunther making John tap. We got John retiring in general. How'd all that go down? We got Austin Theory being revealed as the masked man. And we just have the rest of Saturday's main event, which I thought was a great card in general. We got some other stuff that happened on Raw. Then we're going to go to our wrestler match of the week. And also, tap into some Continental Classic stuff. We have time at the end and all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure as we're talking, there's all different news dropping and blah blah as per usual. But folks, I want to thank you all for such a successful and fun stream right here on the Stache Club Wrestling channel. For those that were there, or for those that weren't there, it was me and Jimmy right there on the couch on live. It rocked. I had a really fun time. I think it's definitely the most successful stream of the year. Peaked at like 800 people, which I was like, whoa. Yeah, it rocked. How'd you feel about the stream? I had a lot of fun.
It's been a while. It was good to be back in the saddle with you. I think it's always better with two when you're streaming, and the energy was there, and it felt like a WrestleMania, man. It really did.
Yeah, last time streamed for All In back in July. And before that was Night of Champions and Money in the Bank. But yeah, so definitely I think that's a sign of dual streams. The big shows will be back. Like we said, we can definitely guarantee Royal Rumble. But yeah, thank you everyone for being there. It was so fun. Second order of business. We do have, which it got kind of rightfully so overshadowed by the events. We have an SCW Predictions Championship update. Jimmy was going in Saturday defending the SCW Predictions Championship, and I didn't want to pick him. I didn't love picking him, but it was a business decision. Gunther won me the SCW Predictions Championship, and I can guarantee, I believe the next show is World's End.
Yes. I
can't think of anything else that's in between. So this will be online for World's End, and then following that, there's rumors there's going to be a Saturday Night's Main Event before the Rumble, but either way, Rumble will also be defended there. But
I think the January 5th episode of Raw might be worthy for predictions. Have you ever done predictions for a Raw?
Probably not. Even at least like the title probably hasn't been on the line, but it's looking like a stacked show.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get into how that's looking.
That's 21 days away, as Paul Heyman said last night.
Oh yeah, and what Steiner went, what? That's 504 hours. And he was like, that's oddly obsessive. Folks, before we really dive into stuff, let's get some plugs off here. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for a bonus weekly pod episode. We answer questions. It's half wrestling, half just us shooting the crap. So head over there. You get the whole back catalog. And follow us on everything. All of our socials and individual YouTube channels. We're posting stuff as well are in the description. We appreciate the support all across the board. All right, what say you we get into what happened? I'll just kind of give maybe just a overview, and we just kind of dive into like thoughts, opinions, what we feel about the discourse. But if you were there with us Saturday night, you saw it just along with us. I'm even curious to talk about, like, I think the match itself, rightfully so, got overshadowed by all the results and like whatever. But Gunther versus CENA. Long story short, Gunther had John in the sleeper. He got out, put him back in the sleeper, and then John Cena, with a smile on his face, almost a look of nirvana, tapped out, and people, the internet. I don't even want to say the internet. Like, I hate always lumping like internet, but like the arena. I'd say just fans, wrestling fans, the universe of wrestling fans exploded one way or the other. I don't know. I guess I don't even know where to start. How do you feel about, I don't know. Where do you want to go? I'll kind of, I've been chatting for a little bit. What are your initial thoughts and feelings about the tap out? I guess we can just start there. That's the biggest piece of news. The tap out, John Cena losing, the way it happened.
Just an unbelievable where were you when it happened moment. And it was, to me, absolutely beautiful. And, Super Cena, the crowd chant. The match itself was, I think, a really good match. My only critique of it, even though it's kind of adorable, and at this point, because it's John, him just screaming every spot out as loud as he could. But the big high spots, the table spot, classic CENA, just the whole crowd there. Not a single soul left the building for the entire night waiting for this match.
The table spot is really going over. That spot was so sick, and like obviously, things crazier happen afterward. But like, yeah, I agree. Really, really good match.
And you want to talk about internet? I mean, the amount of memes that are now created from this match. The Halliburton selfie with him and the Gunther and Cena after the table spot.
I'm like already over people using the Cena smile.
I'm not. I'm personally not. I actually love it, and I think there's so much on the bone with trying to make that thing funny, and I think it kind of is, and it's very reminiscent of that already existing John Cena meme of him kind of like he's in the ring and he's kind of smiling to himself, and kind of that same smile, and kind of and then also there's a very famous I Show Speed meme of this kind of same thing where it's this kind of acceptance, and that moment to me, I'm already getting worked up again thinking about it, just because it's one thing I'll say about it is now whether you, and it's kind of very much a John Cena-esque answer, whether you absolutely loved it, hated it, it brought out emotion from everyone that watched it.
Made you feel.
And that's something that I think me and you going into the show last week or into the Saturday Night's main event, we were kind of saying, in kind of an agreement that like there is kind of no way they can mess it up. But I would never expected that. In my opinion, this was absolutely perfect.
See, I would even say now, almost opposite but similar sentiment, is that there's no way they can mess it up. Now seeing the reaction, I don't think there was a option they could have done that would have made everyone happy. There wasn't one way that they're going to go. Like we obviously saw the tap. People were mad because, which, we're going to dive into more what that means. But the general consensus is that, or the general consensus of people that are mad at that is the guy that never gave up, gave up. If he passes out, which now people are like, and I was in, I've been talking about it for like a week or two, the different strategies, and I and it kind of goes to a bigger point I want to make. The pass out, I also still would have liked it, but I think now it would have been. I think pass out might have been, and this is maybe a hot take. I think pass out might have been the worst way to go about it. Now looking back at it, because then you see your hero. Like people are like, oh, we saw this never give up guy give up. I think it would have been almost gruesome to see this guy in his final moments get knocked out unconscious. Like, sure, it's still there. He never gave up. Sure. I don't think that's would have been the outlying, thing people take away from that. I think it'd be like, oh, you really, people would be upset. Like, oh, like his last match, you let kids see this guy pass out. That's scary. I think that would have been people's problem. I even don't think, I haven't heard any discussion about this. I don't even think a pin would have been crazy if he pins him 1, 2, 3. And then obviously John Cena winning, which is the biggest thing a lot of people are saying. That he should have won. He should have broke the mold. Who cares about tradition? And I want to dive into all that. I want to dive into him possibly winning with all the hypotheticals people are saying. But I think maybe one of the biggest points I was prepared to come in today with is I don't understand why people are taking this so black and white. And this is going to end up being a metaphor for his life. But I don't, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm not trying to say I'm holier than thou. But for weeks, I've been like, it could be A, B, or C, right? Tap out, pass out, win. I saw the pros and cons in all of it. I think there's good and bad in all of it. I don't think any of those are a wrong decision. I don't understand how people, which I think it's a matter of people almost, I hate to use the term fantasy book, but fantasy book in their head, get what they think is the quote-unquote right decision. That doesn't happen. Now all of a sudden they're wrong and they have to justify why something else is a wrong decision because they already made up their mind a week ago. I don't understand how, if you want him to pass out or you want him to win, you see him tap out. I don't see how you can look at that and be like, that is objectively wrong. I don't know how you can't be like, oh, I see, like, sure, I do think this would have been better or I would have liked this, but I see why this is beautiful. I see why this is sentimental. I see what you're saying with the story. Because the biggest thing is, which again, I don't agree that this is the thing, but people are saying that the guy that is never supposed to give up, gave up and let people down, whatever. I understand where people are coming from. I don't disagree with that. You're right. He did give up and whatever. Now, I do think there is something deeper and way more, I don't know, story driven and beautiful to it. But like, I see the point people are making of like, he gave up in his last moments. You know, if I'm being honest with you, which is, it's corny, it's John Cena. There's a small part of me that even thinks like the smile is like corny. Like that's 10% of me. I see all these different sides. Again, I'm not trying to come off here as like, I'm the right one. I see all the good. And da-da-da. But I'm just saying, I don't know why, not to talk in circles, that we can't see, like, everything's so black and white. There's no gray area. There's no like, you know what? I want this to happen. But like, no, I see like, he did let go. He did whatever. Everyone is so just like, no, that was wrong. No, that was wrong. There were 3 to 4 correct decisions. They went with a different correct decision that was varying good or bad. And I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Of like,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing about, I do understand other people's perspectives of, you know, thinking like that. Cause that's how usually I am with being a wrestling fan too. And it's not so many times where I do completely agree with what happened. And I thought it was perfect and beautiful. To me though, the smile, and like, even again, he was in the submission hold for a long time, but I know John Cena, and I know for a fact he still could have gone for another 15 minutes.
Yes,
but in that moment, he knew that it was his time to let go, and he had that level of acceptance. And it wasn't him giving up. It was him
Agreed.
him allowing everyone to know that this guy who he put us on his shoulders for 25 plus years, that, hey, sometimes you got to know when it's time to, let go. And
yeah, I agree.
It was just, it was fantastic. And I love the booking decision, and I thought it was perfect. Although then what happened, and it wasn't a perfect moment, because to me, the crowd really ruined it for me. And it's really ironic that, it's John Cena's always, you can't see me. And now it's for sure now that we won't see him ever again in a ring. I think right now for me, I would like a moment of reflection for my fellow wrestling fan to kind of try to see yourself in the mirror a little bit. Because unfortunately, in my opinion, my perspective watching that live, I haven't watched it back yet, actually. Besides clips on Twitter, of course. It was hard pressed for me to kind of ignore the visceral reaction to me, like the chanting of bullshit was like immediately them commenting on the booking a bit.
Yeah.
And then of course the outpour afterwards of the love and respect from his coworkers and his beloved friends. Triple H comes out, and they use this moment in time to voice this displeasure about Triple H and the booking and TKO, which I think I don't understand that viewpoint, but it was not the time. This time was for John Cena, and in that moment, it really struck with me and it really bothered me. So I had so much emotions going on, and I still do about it. Trying to get back and ignore, the fan reaction and what I think of it. But sorry, I'm kind of talking.
No. It's a lot to talk about. So I think like I do agree. So there's 2 points I have to that. One, kind of going to your point is, and I don't know where I am on this necessarily, but I know I'm always someone that talks about like, yeah, we sit here as wrestling podcasters, we're talking about, like pushing someone is the smart decision. Oh, they should sign this person. Oh, they really fumbled X, Y, and Z, right? This, and I think which is kind of seeing your reactions and whatever. I think you were also sitting there watching it as a fan, right? I had Gunther as my prediction pick. That's me on this podcast, whatever. But I'm rooting for John Cena. I want John Cena to win.
John Cena because I went heart over brain, but I wanted him to win for that last one time, and I still find the beauty in understanding, Gunther winning. And now every time I hear, dude, it brings me trauma, and that's why it was the right decision. Although maybe the folks in the arena didn't understand it, or again, like they paid thousands and thousands of dollars to be there, and you can react however you want to. But to me, that was such a porous thing to start off the kind of showing of respect. So eventually they came around, and there was some beauty and some respects paid to John Cena, but it really was jarring to me, the reaction immediately from the fans. I think totally, if you wanted to voice your displeasure online about Triple H and the booking, that's the place to do it. But watching in that moment really, it put a shiver down my spine and kind of put a crawl in my cereal.
So I think to a different point, I don't necessarily disagree. I did see one person who I forget who it was, but they have a opinion that I respect, and I don't like. It sucks that the crowd booed. It sucks that they were chanting bullshit. I agree with you. Like it wasn't the moment. Even like cheers CENA when he's like there soaked in the moment. And even if Triple H comes in, you want to boo him, then great, whatever. But I hate saying play devil's advocate, but how do I word this? It is. I think it's also half, or there's something to be said about maybe it's also half WWE's fault that's the reaction that was elicited from the crowd. So as much, and I'm the same way. I've been, I'm also oftentimes someone that's critical of the crowd or calling them the discourse or the internet fans and da-da. But I think there may be something to be said. Now, again, I'm not positive where I stand on this, but I think there's something to be said about how this whole retirement tour was run. And, at the end of the day, I do think it does go to like smart fans or whatever, which I want to talk about too. At the end of the day, if that's the reaction you get, I think at least there's a part that has to be on WWE for eliciting that reaction. Like, sure, I think there's definitely a part of fans that were like, oh no, like I hated the booking and I'm being smart and whatever. But if you have a whole retirement tour that was pretty lackluster, and I know a lot of people have made their think pieces on the retirement tour, and for them, I think Bleacher Report gave it an F, which I don't think that's a little harsh. I don't know. I'm not sure how to put what I'm trying to say into words, but I think there is something to be said about WWE turned the mirror on themselves, and as we're talking about it being like, well, what did WWE do to earn this booing? Like, it's not like WWE built up this retirement tour and it was a satisfied ending. Now, I do agree. I do think the crowd was going to boo regardless. I don't think we go back in time, fix some things, and the crowd's cheering in this moment. But I do think it's a little bit of also reflection of the crowd is kind of doing their own thing and being whatever. But there's also a half of it. It's like, well, like WWE, you kind of fumble this retirement tour. And this is where I kind of see maybe this was the time for CENA to get that win, break the mold, and end on a happy ending with this retirement tour being lackluster. Like I said, I don't necessarily think I agree with that or where I stand, but there's something to be said. I think the second thing, which I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, kind of goes to the whole smart fans thing. And I do think there's a mix of 50. I think that crowd was a lot of casual fans, and I'm not saying that derogatory. People use that term in a bad way. I don't think it's a bad term at all. In terms of they're just there for CENA and whatever. And if CENA loses, they're of course going to boo, right? But then you did hear all the, you fucked up Triple H and chants directly at the booking, at the booker, which does kind of take it out of the realm of these chants aren't coming from casual whatever fans. These are people in the know. So
if you're paying that much money, you can't be a casual fan. I mean, I'm sure the celebrities that were maybe afforded tickets, but I don't know. I think a lot of super fans are there, and that's definitely. I think it was very. To me, when I was watching it live on stream with you, it to me was very indicative of the internet fan, and that was kind of whoa, man, this is about CENA. And
so point being is a lot of discourse now is, oh, this is WWE's fault as well because they gave us too much of a peek behind the curtain. People started blaming, which is just a example, WWE Unreal. Ooh. And, there's too much behind the scenes stuff. And even Triple H going on the panel right afterward. And he talks fully business. He talks fully I think that was the right decision. And I think which I don't right after the show, instantly these authority figures breaking that and then talking, it's not, this isn't I don't know. Remember, I never watched it. The Walking Dead had their post show. This is a bad analogy because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But point being is it's almost like they've broken kayfabe too much. And I get it's 2025, the internet exists and we all know it's fake, whatever. But there is a part of me that I think I kind of agree is every single fan, and I'm even talking about us. We are the ones with a podcast that also sit here. And I oftentimes talk about how I don't want to see that stuff or I am watching as a fan. But I think there's something to be said that maybe a certain group of fans now thinks they're too tapped in or too in the know. And now, when you talk about wrestling now, And it's unfortunate. You rarely talk about like storylines or kayfabe stuff. You're just at a bar, whether it's a casual fan or like a fan that's like, very in the know. Most and correct me if I'm wrong if you have different experiences, but most of those conversations aren't like, I can't believe Jay turned on Roman. Oh my God, like holy shit, he might be a little evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or whatever.
I agree.
It's always like, so what do you think them burying LA Knight? So what do you think about did you like that Damian Priest title run? I think they could have done more with it.
They're doing your boy wrong. They're doing your boy
right.
wrong. Yeah.
It's always talk about the business. And that's not how wrestling is supposed to or meant to be consumed. But now that's how every fan is and talks about it. And like I said, I think it's
we are
pros and
25
cons.
years into the internet, like boom,
Right.
and yeah.
So it is almost impossible to avoid that, but WWE's not helping it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trust me, I totally understand frustrations regarding this past year because you go back to the last 2 years of WWE on fire. Almost everyone on the same page about how good the product is. This was a down year. And
sure.
And of course I'm not at the level of many other fans that are like me that do like to talk about the business side of things. I'm super frustrated with the TKO WWE, the total collective, since they've taken over. I'm not super super negative yet. I'm definitely critical and I'm not happy this past year totally, but I think that many people are at that level right now where they're just absolutely done and wanting to voice their frustration here. You see in the arena and online too. So
that's why like, I also don't want to sit here and be like, hypocritical because like I do also. I think that is like, again, like all this I'm just kind of talking out. I'm not really, this isn't, I don't have a hard stance on any of this, but I think it's interesting to talk about and just kind of put out there.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to be hypocritical and be like, no, only we can talk about the business because we got these SM7Bs in front of our face, right? I think it is fun, and every time I explain wrestling and being a wrestling fan as an adult, it is something I always say. I was like, yeah, well, like it is part like the in-ring and the storytelling, but a lot of being an adult and watching it is like the business side and booking decisions and whatever. It's like that part is interesting and fun. So I can't be a hypocrite and sit here and be like, no, we can do that, but you watching kayfabe. But I think there is a more balance that people can take. And
even to a bigger discussion for me personally, I love people that would have a very passionate take about hating the booking decision. I think it's fun to talk about, like, oh, you really hated that? Like, tell me why. But it's more so I was very upset with like the immediate fan disrespect, in my opinion, to Cena in the moment. But
yeah,
because it is what it is. It is kind of a frustrating time for WWE. But
yeah. Which I don't know if I feel like I've kind of talked like, with everyone assuming my thoughts as well. But I also just kind of circle all the way back. I also just a stamp, give some sort of opinion. You know what I mean? I also love the decision. I also think other decision would have been great. I do think the tap did end up being the perfect decision. We talked a lot about it on stream. We talked a lot. I mean, I've been on Twitter and I was on stream last night. But I really do think, and you said it perfectly, and people are starting to condense it, which I really like, is Cena, that smile wasn't him giving up. And I want to talk about, I think I want to transition this into talking about the perspective of, giving up versus not. Like, yes, like on the surface, that is him, quote unquote, giving up. However, the bigger picture that I think people haven't immediately dove into and they've kind of stopped at the surface. And again, people can't be wrong. So if that's the conclusion they drew, that's it.
It means we're not wrong.
Yeah, right. It was a moment of, you know what? I am older. And I do agree with you. I do think it was like I could try to keep fighting out of this, but I'm just going to try to keep fighting out of this. This guy's younger than me. He's better than me. There's a new generation that is better than me because I'm old. I'm weaker. And I don't think it's supposed to be like a sad, like, death, like looking death in the eye sort of thing. It's a acceptance, and my time for this in my life is up. He's going to go on to movies and he has a whole other half of his life to live. But this moment is up. My time is up, which I think is like beautiful. And I think the term he let go, right? The whole show is to showcase, the first three matches were to showcase like, hey, once Cena leaves, you're left in good hands with a Cody, Oba, Bailey, Sol Ruka, Leon Slater, Javon Evans, AJ Styles, who is retiring next year. We still get a whole year of him. Dragon Lee. And that's just a metaphor for also the rest of the roster that wasn't showcased. So seeing those 3 matches and seeing all these people who are still on the show, it was also like, I'm leaving you in good hands. Like, I'm not, I'm not worried that like, oh no, I'm leaving everyone, whatever. I just saw how good of a show this was. You'll be okay. You know what I mean? I think that's another way to look at it. And like just the subtle taps. I agree. I think that wasn't a look of desperation. That wasn't I think he could have broken out of it again. And I don't know. I think it was beautiful.
I think the smile even is true to him knowing that, one, he's going to make Gunther the biggest heel.
Sure.
And he's going to make sure this guy is the ultimate villain, because he also knows that's good for business, even though it's such a kind of kayfabe breaking thing. Also, though, like you just said, he knows that he can leave now because of what he created within this company and in the scope of professional wrestling, and how many people he has influenced and has driven to get to the point where he knows that there will be another John Cena to then conquer Gunther, who just took out John Cena.
Sure.
So that smile was like, you know what? It's time, and I know the fruit of my loins will do me right, and I know that I'm leaving the company in a better place than when I started, and it was just such an emotional moment for me as a fan of John Cena for all my life. And then even on stream, I was like, Stone Cold was my guy for the longest time, but I think now it's all said and done, I was getting choked up talking about him. Like, John Cena is my favorite. He's the GOAT for a reason, and it was such a moment, man.
And I do like how going to like I do think it would have been cool if he won. I do also like that he did lose, and Cena is a person that like he's not going to put himself above anyone else, even though he is widely considered the greatest of all time, and he even like has acknowledged that like I might be the best.
Post tap out clarity. John Cena shouldn't have won that match. Absolutely not. Yeah, I was going into it like, let's go Cena, Super Cena, as a super big John Cena Mark fan. But it makes sense.
I meant to say this earlier, and we're going to talk about the Gunther stuff on Raw in a little bit, but like seeing the reaction on Raw does almost make like, all this conversation, like, do we even need to have, as we're like, a half hour in, like, do we even need to have this? Because Gunther just proved on Raw that, hey, this was perfect, So it's like, do we even need to justify it anymore? Because he just justified it on Raw. But one thing I also like, and people are like, if there's anyone to break tradition, it's John Cena to break tradition, and tradition's bullshit and whatever. And hey, listen, I am usually in the right. I for the most part, this is kind of like talking like in my life, I usually don't give a shit about tradition. I'm very much a person that's like I don't care how we used to do it. If that's cool, like as someone who also loves like older things and like whatever, like I do find appreciation and value in maintaining things, but I also think like I'm a very progressive person. Like, hey, let's try new things, let's do new stuff. Maybe things now are better than keeping some sort of tradition, whatever. But there is something to be said about keeping some sort of, I don't know, pureness or soul alive in this one thing that the legends go out looking on their back. John Cena went out the most traditional, respectable way in wrestling that a lot of people, and I was telling you that, like, I had some casual fans or people who weren't even fans texting me, they didn't really understand it. And it's not for them to understand. It's for us in the know to be like, he did the deed. He did the respectable thing. Which for some reason people like, I think that should have been the forefront of everyone's mind. And it's something that like was like I thought it was like, he really did it. Like he's selfless. He did what the proper ending to a professional wrestling career is. Go looking at the lights. And I thought that was really good. My least favorite critique, and this is like I've found some value and good points in a lot of people's critiques. My least favorite critique is, and it's such grasping at straws, it's such internet trolls and bots, is oh great, so now he just told a bunch of kids that you can give up. You gotta be fucking dumb in the head. Like again. I think it's really inappropriate and gross to not have any sort of argument and then put up like, oh yeah, well, cancer kids. fuck you.
I want to see the percentage of people that have said that, mostly online, obviously, and if their profile picture is like of themselves, like I generally, I just don't. I think that's such a kind of deranged way of looking at it.
Never give a great word for it.
Never give up for John. I have my headband. I said never give up. I was going to grab it as a prop. No, forget the prop. Never give up is John Cena in a nutshell. The guy was like he's said in many interviews before this, leading up, was not. It was like the 8th guy in OVW that they were actually looking at, and he was supposed to be fired in 2003 until he, for 2 years, made a goof and ass of himself on TV, and then was the perseverance of working hard and just hustle, loyalty, respect. Never give up is still reigning true in John Cena's mindset. I think it's for sure grasping at straws to kind of make 100%. It about the absolutely fantastic and important charity work that John Cena has done with Make-A-Wish. I think that's such a weird thing to do.
It's absolutely bonkers that like people are like, oh well, great, like now a bunch of cancer kids are gonna stop fighting for their lives. But like genuinely, you're sick. Like that's it's disgusting if you think that that's like a justifiable thing to like bring up or. We're talking about like fake storylines in a pretend sport here. Like, don't like it's disgusting.
And if
it's also not true. A bunch of kids around the world are gonna be like, John Cena just tapped out. Time for me to give. Time for me to drop out of high school. Time for me to like. It's so absolutely crazy, and it's assuming that everyone has the lack of media literacy that you do. No, some people think more critical than that. That's like the one thing I saw that like made me upset.
I mean, I don't want to speak for anyone that may actually have that take, and maybe if you are someone going through cancer, and if you really took that away from that, I'll tell you what. If I could try to, if you're watching this by somehow imagination, him giving up, tapping out to Gunther, you have days where you're gonna have to take it easy and not so maybe tap out in the sense of you can't do that small task, because again, sickness is a very complicated thing, and I've lost to people from sickness, and like there are times where it gets tougher and tougher. So it's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous thing to throw out there anyway. So like you mentioned, but I don't know. It's grasping. I think it's grasping at straws for sure.
One more thing before I want to
and also
talk to me.
A greater over message to get more deeper and scary. It comes for us all. Gunther,
and that's
the dark shadow of death. I mean, no matter if sickness,
that's the scary part about it, right?
It all comes for us all. So like that's also kind of a very movie-esque thing that I took from this moment, which like whenever you can really make something feel like a freaking movie. And for me, I'm kind of a sicko. I love when a movie has a bad ending. Thing is though, there's a part 2, and it's going to happen whether if Javon Evans is the one to one day beat Gunther, or I think the next John Cena personally is Braun Breaker. But I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
No, it was just a moment. It wasn't giving up. It was acceptance. It was this time in my life is over, and it's like, and I know that's like, as I'm saying that, some of those are synonyms for giving up or death or whatever. But it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of the proper words to like. Because again, I get besides like the like I said it before. But I understand the give up. My problem, so I want to make this clear. My problem and my anger came from people being like, what about the cancer kids?
Crazy.
They're all gonna, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah, I've seen it.
But to circle back to what I said way earlier is like, I see a lot of people's points in terms of and don't fully disagree. Like, I get where people are coming from in terms of the guy that never gave up, give up. I understand why you think that. I understand all that. Again, I'm seeing the nuances and everything. But that extreme point was the only thing that like I got mad about and like whatever. I think it's an important distinction to make. But
that's why it's awesome. He never gave up, and he gave up. Like, whoa,
and exactly like
that's crazy.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I still haven't taken it all in.
Even if that's how you want to think of it, and you want to stay at that like surface level of like, isn't that crazy that this big heel like made the guy to never give up. Like that goes to the whole Gunther side of things and making him a star and whatever.
I hate Gunther forever. I hate that guy forever.
So that kind of leads into my other point is like, and the reason I want to say this is I don't want to sit here being like, no, You're supposed to be happy Gunther won. That's not the point I want to make at all. You're supposed to be sad. Oh, you're angry your favorite lost? Like, when I'm sitting there, again, as a fan, John Cena lost. I was like, oh my God, John Cena lost. Obviously, we were on stream, and we need to say something. And, I just kind of brought it back to, like, wrestling podcaster mind. But you're supposed to be disappointed. You're supposed to be mad. You're supposed to be sad. But people are almost misconstruing that genuine feeling towards that story. And it's almost as if they don't know how to deal with it, and they're getting, like, angry, and it's misdirected, and they're like, no, I'm angry because this is, like,
Triple
bad
H and
booking or
TKO,
whatever.
yeah.
No, it's because, like,
It's supposed to make you angry.
It's supposed to make you sad. That's your hero. He lost. But
kind of kicks ass to be sad sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Some of that's sad right now because sometimes you gotta appreciate the beauty to then you can't enjoy the sunny days without a few rainy days.
It's like that made the moment. Like when you think back like 10 years, let's say 10, 15, 20 years in the future, when Dad, tell me about John Cena, and you tell him all about these great things, and he goes like, but you know what? I was heartbroken when the day came where he got too old, and someone did finally end up being better than him, and he tapped out, and I was so sad. It doesn't take away from the past 25 years before that point, but it's like it's a monumental. I would argue 100% that's a more memorable moment and more impactful moment than if he just won.
Absolutely.
If he won, then you're telling that story, and then and he went out on top and he won. It's a fun, feel good story, but it's way more. It's more moving if he lost, and I had to grow up with him, or I had to, you know what I mean?
And the same post match thing happens where Cody, CM Punk, which I thought was beautiful,
right,
gives him the world titles, and that's another discussion of like even that moment, like you can read Cena's lips. He was like, they're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. And then the fact that he had that discussion with his two very close confidants, like in that moment, really pissed me off, man. So like, just kind of reliving it right now in my head. It's like, damn. But don't get me wrong, that's very true. Then of the point, this match and moment should have been in Boston, Massachusetts, which is in also a TKO fucking thing.
So you know what?
Yeah.
Now that I saw that this happened, surprisingly, this should not have been in Boston. If it was in Boston, he needed to win. Because that place, the people would have burned down TD Garden. And I know it's great. But I think it would have
actually got hurt, Gunther.
Because that's what I mean. Yeah. It would have been people would have been flipping cop cars. You know what I mean?
Me.
If he won, 100% put it in Boston. But I
think that's even more reason to do it in Boston.
I see what you're saying.
Let's flip some cop cars, man.
But at least, now I'm like, maybe that was a good idea. So fucking Biddy Early's, no, that's down the street, but fucking the Greatest Bar would still be standing. You know what I mean?
Bobby Orr's statue would be snapped in half. Snapped in half, man.
Oh man. Okay. From that, still staying on all this, but we talked a lot about, I guess, one thing to end the scene and stuff on a more lighter note and a less like no. First of all, I loved him leaving his shoes and the armbands in the ring. Again, like Undertaker did that, whatever. But very funny. If people are listening on audio only, they might have thought you were peeing.
I'm sorry. I'm listening.
And I called my parents afterward because they're all, they knew I was a John Cena fan. They watched a little bit of it, and I was like, "What'd you think of it?" But very funny, him like taking off the shoes and armbands, emotional moment. He like walks up the thing, and he's standing, and he has just like the most ridiculous socks on, like the Never Give Up, like bright like blue and red socks, and like I thought that was just like a little funny, just like, this has some silly socks on.
He also looked incredibly naked because the camera only had him from like the waist up, and then John Cena, I've only seen him ever in armbands, so like he just looked he looked butt naked when he was doing the scene.
And then the one person going like, "Leave the jorts."
That was so funny. That was so funny.
I would have cried laughing. It would have been so funny.
I would like to think I wouldn't have said the same thing if I had thought of it in the moment and if I was there. Again, that kind of goes to
I bit my tongue on stream, so I was like, I'm not going to ruin the moment.
I mean, I was crying. I started pointing out. It was so funny, but oh man, what a! I'll tell you what, I'll never forget that moment of in post match too. I mean, which like, I thought that was really beautiful what they attempted to do, and like ultimately the crowd did come around, which thank you.
Yeah, I did think it ended up being like, I think it was a nice a nice moment. I do like that he lost. But to go to, again, something that just proves our point that we've been talking about for 40 minutes is Gunther. Big Gunther. I mean, first of all, his reaction, or if we almost start all the way there, his reaction to the tap out, seeming like, oh my God. Like, I think which I need to watch it again more closely, but seeing clips again of like, there's a little bit of shock and like, oh my God, I actually made him tap. Getting like obviously the hostile crowd. There are clips of people like, chased him down. He had to be around security, getting back to his car, whatever. And he comes out on Raw. And to preface this, I thought this was perfect. I loved this follow-up. He comes out. Also, like the symphony was symphony number 9 or whatever, playing as the crowd goes to people crying at Saturday Night's Main Event to bring it back to there. Unreal. It's moments like that, like watching it on a replay. It's like, oh, that was, like it's hard to see all that all at once. Him coming out on Raw, just getting booed out of the building. And in that moment, I think at least a lot of people that maybe also didn't like the Saturday Night's Main Event might have, at least, again, like I'm saying, you see the point or see some value, right? You don't have to see all the value, but you have to at least see where other people are coming from. Him getting booed out of the building. John Cena helped make and leave with him, or as he went out, the biggest heel in the business. It's Gunther. He comes out. Boos are raining down. Gets on the mic. I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. Oh! Again, you're so... And my point is, like, again, I often get maybe annoyed with myself sitting here being, wrestling podcaster, and I'm like, hell yeah, that was good. And I said it on stream. I can't wait. I mean, I said it on like a TikTok, whatever. I can't wait to be in a crowd again with Gunther coming out and getting to indulge in that booze. Because when I'm in a crowd, I'm not this when I'm in a crowd. I'm not this when I'm sitting there watching the Royal Rumble or whatever. I am fully invested, especially in the crowd in live action. I'm not even like, I'm booing those heels, and not even like I'm playing along sort of way. No, I'm in that atmosphere, and I believe that Gunther is an evil man, and he beat my hero, and I'm sad about it, so fuck this guy. But zoomed out as like the podcast, whatever, I get to be like, oh, that was a smart decision. Look at all those boos.
Remember when he tapped out against Jey Uso?
Right.
Which I think a point that's been made. For sure, a mistake. Yep. But also, you go back to that time period and like they capitalized on the Jey Uso thing. Also, in my own messed up brain of interpreting it, I think that moment, definitely was a reason why this moment happened.
It made him snap.
Yeah, they had to rebuild him, and they rebuilt him so much stronger, where he now has taken the soul of WCW, he's taken the soul of WWE, and now maybe AJ Styles down the road, soul of TNA. I mean, there's a whole company career killer gimmick that Gunther is just on a whole nother level.
100% the new legend killer. Which we didn't even mention the beautiful call, and I think a really important call by Michael Cole saying, professional wrestling defeated sports entertainment. And throughout that rest of the night, and even on Raw, they were using the term professional wrestling. I know this isn't like the, terms have changed, like, eras are different, but like that, and we'll see in the coming, months or whatever. But I said on streams, like, that could have been the end to sports entertainment. John Cena was the last sports entertainer. Now, yes, you still have like Randy and Ray from that era, but ultimately, like, now we're back to professional wrestling. Gunther ushered away sports entertainment. Now he's like, no, professional wrestling is on top. The professional wrestler beat the sports entertainer. Again, it's a new time. Cena's time is up. Things are a new generation of younger, better guys, kayfabe wise, whatever, is here.
You have a new number one de facto heel for the next 6 years that will carry this moment with him and carry ultimate heat and booze for the next every show that he's a part of. And what that does is give so much room for multiple stars to be elevated. And I can already think of a million of them. And
I saw people are being very critical of Gunther or whatever. And I think forgetting what a heel is. And one of the biggest things, multiple people said it, is like, again, a lot of WWE fans will start talking about like numbers and who's selling the most merch for some weird reason. that's not that Gunther's job is to make Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Roman Reigns, whoever he's facing, to be the biggest face and sell the most merch and to get the loudest cheers. Gunther, and again, and this is where it gets like weird. It goes back to all us, us talking about like, fans being too like smart and always in the mindset of like being the booker and whatever.
I'm guilty of it,
and I'm not even. I am too.
Yeah.
But like we need. I always say like, you look back like the 80s. Hogan. What would Hogan have been without his Iron Sheik? You know what I mean? Iron Sheik was getting booed out of the fucking building.
They were playing on real wars for the storylines.
Right.
You can imagine the amount of heat that Sheik and of course Hogan, babyface. But to your point, correct, absolutely.
We now have our Iron Sheik. And now someone, because we still have a Cody, and and the rumor is, Cody ends up, being the guy to face him, or Gunther beats Cody, who knows? But we have our villain, we have our 80s like the crowd hates him for real sort of thing.
One of the things he does so good, and like you almost can't teach it. And certain heels have had in history. I think of Ted DiBiase and even like JBL. Sure. I think John Cena's first WWE Championship opponent. The big ass smile and laugh, where he's just he looks like Bruce from Finding Nemo, just like an absolute guy that you want to just like absolutely try to attack. Like I see myself in that kind of chubby little kid arguing with Gunther. But Gunther would kill me, so I wouldn't actually go after him. But I will forever be traumatized when I hear that theme song, those first few notes, and like the way they presented it last night too, with like the kind of expanded crowd shots where you can kind of see many people. It's like their arms filling, like the emotion of even in the cheap seats where there's no chance Gunther's hearing you. You're probably hearing the worst words come out of people's lips, and it's it felt good. The entire segment though kind of made me well, I loved all Gunther's parts, but then when he went backstage, I thought things kind of. I was like, I didn't love because like, why is Adam Pearce getting the babyface reaction for calling him an asshole? He's like, or are we building to Pearce versus Gunther? And then he punishes him by say get out of here, which like. I'll defend a little bit. It was like again the emotion. Pearce is like one of us, so, he was very offended by Gunther saying,
"What's a boss gonna do?" Say, he's not gonna say you're fired, but he's gonna be like. Get out of my face. Get out of here.
You're calling the greatest employee of all time a bitch on our TV show to start off the day.
Right.
Go home. But then what kind of killed me is like, that was not a planned thing for Pierce to tell him to go home. Gunther goes outside to his car. Out is a t-shirted AJ Styles, who I guess happened to be waiting for him by Gunther's car.
On the Benz.
He knew Pierce was going to send him home. But then also too, Styles didn't say anything until Big Guns in the Benz. You can't see me.
Yeah.
I was like, that was kind of funny, but like again. Styles, Gunther, oh boy!
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so like, I do agree with you. It was very funny. Like he won his wrestling match. He went and cut a promo that he was given promo time, and Peter's like, "Hey, what the hell?"
He did go back and kept that was really funny.
That's the part that I also understood is that like he's not mad at him for that. He's mad because he like
overdid it.
It's like. Well, yeah, I didn't tell you to go out and call John Cena a bitch twice. Like that's not like you're a disrespectful asshole. Like I get that's what it was.
Yeah.
But so him coming out, like dude, standing on the announce table and just I think the my favorite way to have framed it is basking in everyone's hate and boo. And like you said, the smile and the laugh and him leaving, coming back to just get more of it and then call him a bitch a second time. I thought it was brilliant. It's what it needed to be. He just needed to go out there, bask in the booze, twist the knife a little bit. And like you said, went backstage, had a couple funny face-offs like Tozawa and Otis, and them all being like, "You're a mean guy." And then we got the tease, like you were saying, of Gunther and Uncle Allen. And I think, and so what I like about AJ not saying anything is AJ's still AJ Styles, but he sees a lot of himself in what just happened to Cena. Ooh. He's older.
Oh,
John Cena said he's the best wrestler on the planet. He is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. He's older. He knows he's retiring in 2026. He just saw Gunther retire Goldberg, John Cena. It was like he's still AJ Styles. He's not going to back down, but in his face, you could see like, oh, am I next on this list?
Is that my fate?
My fate?
Is that the Grim Reaper looking at me?
Exactly. And
He's
then
the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper is the perfect way to put it. Gunther gets in the car in the fucking Benz and then hits him with the "You can't see me." And then a part I loved, which is kind of an unsung part. And Gunther's so fucking funny, which I don't understand. Like, everyone at this point calling him boring or a bad wrestler or whatever, that's fine. You can like and dislike what you want. You're just never gonna like it. You have a taste that I don't understand, but by all means, have that. Good for you. But him, he does the thing, and then he goes like, it's like I'm just messing around. Like I'm joking. All right, let me get out of here. I love it. It's like this little fucking, and then like the whole time grinning and chuckling. Yeah. So like, if we can put that all in a box, like from top to bottom, I think it was great. And I think now they have a lot of directions to go down. And again, I say this all the time, but like, capitalize. Don't fumble. You have this, you know? But yeah, I am curious. I don't really want to talk about it now, because we do have a lot of other stuff to get to. But I am curious to kind of, I don't know if we want to just save it for maybe next week or like whatever, when we're a little bit more zoomed out. But I am curious to have a conversation about like their retirement tour as a whole. You know, as people are looking back on it and we got the gradings of it. I don't feel like diving into it, you know, now. As I said, I do want to talk about theory and like the rest of its main event. But I think overall it wasn't great. I think there's some really great potential. There's definitely more lows than there are highs, but some of the highs were great. I love like the pipe bomb, the AJ match, the initial heel turn, like but I don't know. I think coming from it, I wouldn't say, I don't know if satisfied is the word, but like I'm at like I don't even know if I want to give it a grade, but like I'm kind of sitting back like they could have done more. They didn't capitalize on it. Ultimately, I think it was disappointing, but we're here now. And I'm glad he got it. I'm glad we got to try stuff like the heel turn. But, you know, ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and be delusional and be like, you know what, everyone know. It was an A+. But I'm curious, like, if your overall.
I think F is a crazy grade to give
F's
it.
Crazy.
I will say there definitely was points where I was very confused with the booking. And I think the overall major flaw and thing that it's almost, you know, cringe to say at this point is the, you know, no Travis Scott, no The Rock follow-up from the initial heel turn, which then, you know, even CENA kind of refuses to even talk about it because he refuses to bury anyone, because I think it's clearly a Travis Scott issue, and I think The Rock just, you know, didn't want to play ball. But overall, I mean, it garnered a lot of emotion out of me. So that's something, you know, good and bad. So that's something that, you know, I look back on and kind of will point to and say, like, yeah, this was a down year in WWE, but so much memorable moments happened, and including my favorite wrestler of all time, John Cena. I was entertained. So like, I'm kind of leaning towards an overall grade of like maybe a C-, but I wouldn't mind revisiting maybe next week, and like we kind of, because we have a lot of tape shows, and maybe of course we have the Stashies, you know, fast approaching. So maybe a more reflective time period could be better.
Yeah, because at this point we've gone like an hour.
A lot of Cena talk already.
A lot of Cena talk. Okay, let's go to some more big news. We have the Masked Man got revealed, which I am kind of shocked. I don't honestly have a strong emotion about it. I'm not like, yeah. I'm also not like, this sucks. I'm just kind of like, that cool. In terms of like the whole way it was done. A lot of people are critical that it happened too soon. I think we needed something tonight, or else people were going to get bored, and like it'd be almost like not jumping the shark, but like kind of like, all right. I honestly thought it was enough that we saw like his eyes. I was kind of like, I'm good until next week. You know what I mean? Like that we're getting more and more or whatever. I understand. So obviously the Masked Man revealed his Austin Theory. He runs in, stomps on Ray, which I don't know why Ray's getting the shit end of the stick here. Stomps
well, because
Ray.
You know your GOAT is the most sympathetic person to be like, oh man, right. So you know what it is.
Rey Mysterio retirement tour turned him heel. But so then he runs up the ramp or the stairs, rips off the mask. I fully understand a lot of people's criticism of this. You know, the negative, or not negative, but like the criticism of it is like, you know, why didn't we have a week where he was like standing with the Vision as the Masked Man and like, hey, I'm joining them. Still no reveal, but like now there's at least a couple more steps to tell in terms of like, okay, he is with him, and I think I saw you on Twitter of like, Paul might be a rat in this whole situation. Did they actually know? So like, yeah, I don't disagree that like the way they did it. While I do think they needed to do something tonight, like maybe it was a little rush. Sure, again, I don't feel strong. So ultimately, like I don't know. It's not that I don't care. It might also just because like there's so much other stuff that was worth conversation that happened. Then this happened. I'm like, yeah, like whatever. Like this is fine, great. Austin Theory's there. Like I'm a sucker for a masked man reveal. Did they nail it? Probably not. Was it terrible? Also, no, not at all. I don't know. Where are you kind of at in general? I don't know. I'm not really anywhere.
My takeaway from the moment, I mean, Piper in Portland, Hart in Calgary, Punk in Chicago, Austin Theory in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Austin Theory chants. Do you hear those? You heard those, right? There were some Austin Theory chants.
I heard it from maybe those 15 people. Yeah.
No, they were like maybe like triple that. It's like 45 people, I think. I heard it and I was like, whoa, okay. I thought it was an okay review. I'm happy to see Austin Theory back. I think he's talented. I think they've already given him so much early on in his career that you have to, give him another chance. This is kind of a sink or swim moment for my boy, Mr. A-Town Down.
I like the look. I like the shaved head. No, you don't like it?
I think he looks like, I immediately thought of Sid from Toy Story. I don't know why.
Yep. I thought he looked like, rest in peace, Fez. I think his name is no, not Fez. From Euphoria, the guy that passed. Yes. It begins with an F. Is it not Fez?
I think it might be Fez.
I thought, but Fez is also the guy from that '70s show.
It is. It's not Fez.
But yeah. Well, yeah. I also saw people were saying Daniel Garcia.
Yes.
I said Aiden Ross. What do we got? It's something like that, right?
Fez.
Oh, it is Fez. Wow.
Ball.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I think it looks a little more. To me, it looks a little more serious.
Yes, I think that's the point of it. I think
yeah,
he's no more with Grayson Waller, and this is kind of like I know I'm kind of right now not reaching my potential, at least the initial kind of potential grade that he got coming into the business. And I think it's very kind of telling that they waited until CENA was gone to bring Theory back, almost in some
okay.
In some
Why
regards.
do you say that?
I think he has that is a big stink mark in his career thus far. That CENA. Like CENA really buried him in the promo, and like Theory beat him at WrestleMania, but gained nothing from it, which I think is like a travesty. So he kind of has to overcome that a bit.
Sure.
And then I kind of think right now with the Vision, things are fishy. Something smells.
Sure.
I don't like Paul Heyman telling Braun Breaker not to go attack CM Punk. Who the hell cares if you attack CM Punk 3 weeks before the show? He's going to have to show up, and if not, you're the world champion anyway. Paul Heyman not looking out for his guy, not looking out for the dog, not looking out for my favorite wrestler of not all time, but currently Braun Breaker, who I think is the next John Cena. So I think a face turn is very imminent for Braun Breaker, actually.
Sure, yeah, especially with, it'll be interesting to see, like, did Braun and Bronson Reed know about Theory? Did Logan know about Theory? Was Paul the only one know about Theory?
I think Braun might be the only one out on Theory.
Sure, I could fully see like, Logan is almost like besides Paul the de facto leader since Seth is out. Was Austin Theory supposed to be in Logan's spot? Are they gonna is it gonna be Logan and Austin beefing in terms of the Vision? And I do agree with you. I see Braun being like, who the hell is this? Like, and like almost not getting jealous. I do think it'll lead to a face turn as well, but like not letting like this other guy take his spot and like, there's gonna be some sort of Paul Heyman comeuppance or a similar like, I don't know, evolution turn. On Randy or whatever.
Breaker.
Or no, but I'm saying in evolution, a la evolution.
Yes, absolutely.
A little bit of thumbs down.
Perhaps.
Of, I mean?
Because we're at a standstill right now, leading up to this World Heavyweight title match on the anniversary of Netflix, January 5th Raw, CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's my favorite wrestler currently going. He's the man. I think he has world championship written all over him. Don't think this is the time to do it. And
I'd be surprised if he wins the title here.
And I'm trying to think of like why that might not happen, because to me, I think you should crush CM Punk into smithereens, just on a kayfabe level, because this is not the 2011 CM Punk. This is the 2025 CM Punk. CM Punk had a great rebuttal in promo last night.
Promo was pretty good.
It was. I mean, he can still talk the talk, but I don't think he can walk the walk, and he can't walk this dog, Braun Breaker. But I don't see it happening on January 5th, and it scares me. But in a good way, where I think they have a bigger picture. Yeah. I'm smelling maybe a Rumble win for Mr. Braun Breaker. I mean, I feel like Sami Zayn's been penciled in for a long time, but he's kind of lost a little momentum.
Yeah, at this point, I Sami was the favorite for sure. Yeah. Like I'd be surprised if Sami was still the favorite, because now even people are looking at like Roman. I think Braun is a great pick. I think Sami is still like maybe a top 5, top 6 pick. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at with like this whole situation. Like I don't feel too strongly about it. Like I've never been a big Austin Theory guy in general, so I'm also just kind of like, I'm looking forward to being shown something, and like, I'm here for the ride. But again, I think also just like my emotions and opinions have all been used up, like in terms of what happened Saturday. So I'm just kind of like, cool, let's see what happens.
I think that Raw needed that ending. I think you needed the reveal and something to kind of sink your teeth through. And I thought it was a pretty solid episode of Raw. I think the Logan Paul Ray match was a bit I think the chemistry there, I think it's very indicative of Logan Paul. And we've been seeing him wrestle on Raw a lot recently. It's been good to see. But he's still, again, only like 30 matches into his career. And I think last night it showed a little bit. But it's because it's never on Rey Mysterio. Don't ever think it's a bad match on Rey Mysterio. But
good fit. Even to if we want to go to the Punk promo a little bit, I like the Punk promo. I think it was a good rebuttal. It was as much as he was like, you want 2011 Punk, you can't handle 2025 Punk, but that promo was 2011 Punk esque. He's all like, and I'm glad he obviously he was gonna, but he's like, speaking of dimes, if you bring up my wife again, who cares about this title? I'm gonna gouge your eyes out, or whatever he said.
Calling him Brawny and referring to Brawny James, the little kid.
Mm-hmm. That was good. What else we have on? We have that title match. We have Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Io for the titles.
Massive. I think that's kind of it, though. Actually,
I think that's what's been announced.
But those two matches to me are massive.
Massive. Yeah, it's being treated like a pay-per-view. Okay. We can go anywhere from here. We're an hour in. We have some time left in the show. We also have a lot of like Science Man event. We have some other stuff on Raw. I think, you know what? We haven't really talked about, because like my general consensus, and I kind of mentioned it briefly about like the first 3 matches, like I think all 3 of them were great. I think everyone was showcased so well. All the NXT people, Javon, and Leon and TNA, and then Sol, and then Oba. Oba Femi though, huh? Oba Femi versus Cody starting off the show. This was another instance where I was getting texts from casual/non-fans of like, Oba Femi is sick. Great showing against Cody, even busting open his ear, even made him look like even more a badass. Drew coming in, like we expected it. It was also the opening of the show. Drew coming in and interrupting, kind of obvious, but sure. I wish. I think it's me just like wishing my booking happened, but I wish he didn't I wish he didn't just fully like go in and beat Cody. It was just like, I wish he went in, did a distraction, and maybe like Oba got a pin, or like, I don't know. I just think it was a little lame to go, Drew runs in and instantly just starts beating him. It just felt lazy. But I understand it. You want to protect both champions. But either way, takeaway though, Oba is a star, dude. What a guy.
You want to talk about potential Rumble winner? Why not Oba Femi? Give this guy everything. We've been known on the Oba Femi train, but it is a treat that this would felt like a WrestleMania, and you put the Oba in this position to wrestle the WWE champion on this card. And yeah, he was super elevated in this. Of course, we always tease about Cody kind of being a politician, not really taking that into flourishing with the bloody ear. But I thought this was really good. I kind of agree, though, the interference, not ideal, but I did, however, like then what happened with, then Oba took care of Drew a little bit, so then I thought that made complete sense. I then would have, this is just kind of, I'm a mark, and I love Oba Femi, but even then don't even shake hands at Cody Rhodes, take out Cody Rhodes too, or maybe like show him some disrespect or something, because that is going to be a big time rivalry down the road at some point. I don't know, maybe sooner rather than later, hopefully, but maybe not, because they do like to do the slow builds. But Cody versus Oba, give me that again, please.
And to the point of kind of circling back a little note about like, people, smart fans, or even like, so to be honest with you, my buddy who doesn't watch wrestling, he never even watched as a kid, but like just being friends with me, I've like tapped him into stuff, and he's like, he was with me to watch when the Undertaker retired, and he didn't get it, but he was like, it was funny that he like was there, and like we invited him over to watch the pay-per-view anyway. But he even like, as I was talking, he asked questions, and like I've told him about like, asked how like he's like, how do these wrestlers bleed? Is it real blood? And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, sometimes it'll be like a blood pack or fake blood, or oftentimes, you run the blade. It's a little bit of a razor blade hit. And to him, that was like, really? He's like, where do they hide it? It's like, oh, it's a referee, or it's like, maybe like taped up on them, whatever. So it was funny that when Cody got, I looked like his ear was bleeding. It was kind of going from his ear to his mouth, and instantly, I'm talking to I call him after. My buddy's like, he's like, yeah, and he goes like, and after you told me about like, these guys like blading and they kind of like hide from it, he goes, I think I saw, because he was like on the other side of the announce table. I think that's probably where it happened. And I was like, I think it got busted open for real. I was like, they usually don't blade on their ear. I was like, I think that was some real blood. And he was like, oh, but point being, it was funny to hear from this guy who doesn't watch wrestling, but he's also talking in a way of someone in the know, of like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm talking, was that where he it was just, I don't know, it was interesting. Speaking of that though, someone that I think was showcased very well, and again, someone that I also got texts about, a standout, Sol Ruka Bailey. I'm still kind of surprised that Sol Ruka beat her clean. But a massive spot for Sol. The acrobatics, like I said, I was getting texts and everyone's like, oh, she's a star. The only NXT champion, or the only champion like not in this spot, which like you mentioned last week, just like that's a point to just how behind Sol they are. I thought his match was great. We got the hand raised at the end, whatever, and Sol looked awesome.
Elevated her. She's going to be a massive star as well. I thought it made sense for Bailey to lose just because of where she's at right now in her kind of standing right now. Kind of hasn't been the focal point of Monday Night Raw so much so, or just not winning matches at a consistent rate. I thought and I thought the way they did it too, with the kind of for 1 second it looked like Bailey was going to get the pin, and then how they did it I thought was beautiful. A good soul snatcher. But my criticism of the soul snatcher last week, I think, to not clarify, but like again, kind of just bring home like, I thought Bailey did a good job of making it not seem so natural for putting her neck out there. So I thought it was really good. And Lyra's, it's not a sweater, it's a dress. But just to clarify that. Many people complimenting Lyra on her sweater, but she likes to clarify that it's actually a dress.
Oh, sweater dress.
Yeah. Is this a really big sweater? And she had no pants on.
Oh.
Like she's like, people were just like, oh, we're commenting on the sweater, but she clarified the dress.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely not a dress, but
I think what I would, because like I did a little bit of me. I do think like I do still kind of think Bailey should have won, but if there was an NXT person to win, because Cody technically won his match, Dragon Lee and AJ Styles won their match. So like if there was an NXT person to win clean, this was the match. So I'm glad this was here.
Why the hell why weren't the tag team titles on the line? I was so flabbergasted. I even changed my pick last second to Javon and Leon Slater because I'm like, oh, these young guys are like some of the best things about wrestling going these days. Why not have them win if it's not for the tag team titles? But apparently, whatever. We're just gonna give AJ Lee they are a great tag team. They've been killing it. But I was like, oh, it's not for the tag titles. Oh.
Yeah. It would have made stakes a little higher, but like that match was I'm saying this in a good way, a car crash. Just like even like some them going a million miles an hour and there being like some slip ups, even I think like benefited it because it was like, oh my god, these guys are like putting their bodies on the line. Unfortunate AJ slip up at the end, but like I think Leon and AJ handled it like pros.
Never happens.
Yeah.
And even so, I was kind of talking to you. I'm like, I'm so nervous for this Gunther John Cena match tonight, just because,
right?
Like, what if something, because again, this is life, this is action, this is sport. You never know, a certain slip up, whatever, and then the match has to end abruptly, or God forbid any of that happens. So maybe it had happened in this AJ match, so our GOAT didn't have to, fall victim to a flub later on. Who knows? The universe works in mysterious ways.
I've seen a lot of people though say that it was on purpose. I mean, that's like the first inclination of like, ooh, is AJ getting weaker? Which I don't think.
Are we getting worked, brother? I don't know.
But yeah, I thought that match was great. Again, I had a friend who, he was showing his 5-year-old son. I think I was talking to you about this while we were on stream. He was showing his 5-year-old son wrestling, and like he's someone. His dad, my buddy, was someone who watched wrestling as a kid, like we all did, and like grew up on John Cena or whatever. Not as tapped in, but always would always like I'll get a text from every now and again. He'll be like, "What's the word on this?" Like before the Gunther Cena match, he sent me a text of just like, so what's the word on Gunther? Like, what should I know? And I sent him a little paragraph of like ring general, wrestling. You know, I gave him a whole like whatever. But he was like sending me videos of him showing his son John Cena. It was the cutest thing. He was like, "That's John Cena," and my buddy was like, "That's John Cena." It was like it got me, dude.
I mean, I've seen memes and like, you know, it's bring up Hulkster, but a lot of our the generation before us was like Hulk Hogan was the guy. We are telling our kids about Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Our future generation, we're gonna be telling the next generation about John Cena the same way. It's
right.
Like those are the two biggest polarizing guys, and it is surreal that his career is now over, and it's it still hasn't really hit me, man.
But with that said, to the point of the Javon is like. I texted my friend. I was like, watch this Javon, and Leon Slayer too. But I was like, watch this Javon. Yeah. I said, your son's gonna love Javon. I said, I always
because of the 6'7".
Because of the 6'7".
No,
he's 5. He probably doesn't even know about that.
True.
Yet. Maybe he does have. Who knows? But I was like, he's like the modern day Jeff Hardy. He's a high flyer. He's insane. Also, to Leon's credit. It's not the first time I've seen it, but that 450 Swanton is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It doesn't make any sense. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. But he texted me back. He was like, oh, Javon's fucking cool. And I was like, yeah. Also, Javon, like working Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Adam Pearce is really taking a liking to him. I do think Javon should win the NXT title, whether he does beat Oba or not for it. I think there's pros and cons to both, but like, there is a world where he just leapfrogs the NXT title. I think it's deserved. I think he could, but I think for the Javon story, have Oba get the call up, and a lot of people are speculating like, you know, we'll eventually maybe get like a triple threat match between like Ricky, Oba, and whatever. I guess that's not the immediate. I haven't watched NXT last week. I guess Oba's next opponent is whoever wins a match between the other Iron Survivor Challenge people. But if we come out of that leading to still like, you know, Ricky, Oba, Javon, I was saying Javon can pin Ricky, get the title, and then Oba can move up. People's pushback on that, which I also saw and didn't disagree with, was for Javon's story, he keeps losing to Oba. He should beat Oba. But then, I don't know if you want Oba to come off a loss going to the main roster. Does it really matter? Does the main roster care about that? Not usually.
It does make you kind of zero in on the decision for Oba to beat Ricky Saints.
I'm still surprised.
It's because, again, like, you know, you would be like, oh, it was because, you know, they wanted to put Oba against Cody Rhodes, but you didn't really technically have to make it so the NXT champion was going to face Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You could have still did Ricky Saints even after you lost the NXT title against Cody Rhodes, and it would have been fine because it's the same thing happened to Sol Ruca. She was just picked.
And they're friends.
So that kind of what was expected, but I'm glad we didn't get that because Oba, I thought, you know, definitely deserved that spotlight a bit more. It's interesting time, man.
Where do you want to go to? That's kind of Saturday's main event. We do have stuff on Raw. We can go to your favorite lingerer had a little moment.
Oh yeah, she's back.
Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel. I hated this this disqualification, whatever. Stephanie, like, Raquel is not someone that is gonna really hurt from a loss to the world champion. She wasn't gonna win. I think this should have been a clean Stephanie Vaquer just title defense. I thought we were over the Nikki Bella stuff. Like, yes, like, it does make sense. Like, she got attacked and she got her revenge and da-da-da. Nikki comes out, attacks Steph, match gets thrown out. So Nikki's still around, as you would put it, but
no, you gotta protect Raquel. You gotta if she wasn't gonna win here, which I think definitely was not in the cards. This was the right decision to kind of throw in Nikki. You know, as much as I'm saying lingerer, I'm not the biggest Nikki Bella guy. I'm kind of at war with the Bella army in some ways. I thought her as a heel is, I think, effective, and I think she does have star power, and kind of does have that kind of almost like I think there is a decent amount of lapsed women's wrestling fans that, like, Nikki Bella does kind of get into the viewer to tune in a little bit, actually. So yeah, I like where this is going a bit. I think this is kind of more kind of not a time waster, but kind of a stopgap and kind of a way for Stephanie Vaquer to her world title run should be a long one. There's going to be, peaks and troughs. I think this is kind of a, bit of a simmer down type rivalry.
I feel like we've been there. We already did it. You know what I mean? Like how many more stops do we need? And again, I do think
Nikki's not going to win the title.
Nikki's not going to win the title. She might. But I don't know. I don't think it would have been a bad idea for like Steph, because Stephanie's got to beat Pete. You can't protect anyone. Stephanie's got to beat people. Raquel's still big mommy cool. I think a clean loss would have been fine. Like I love Raquel. I love the direction she's been. I thought this match was great.
You hear Wade Barrett on commentary?
What'd he say?
Freaking, I was really high on Raquel Rodriguez in her NXT days, and then she just fell off a cliff. She was stinking.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I was like, damn, damn, say it with you. But then he kind of brought to the point of like, she's the most improved wrestler this year, in his opinion. So I was like,
I fell off Raquel.
But I was like, damn, like you were kind of like, I mean, she was doing fine stuff. I mean, she wasn't, the talk of the town per se, but she,
that's funny.
Fell off a cliff. I thought was kind of damn, Wade Barrett.
We got let's see. We had like the Io Rhea stuff. Asuka,
Maxine Dupree.
That's where I was kind of going.
We gotta go there.
But Io Rhea the Mist, and that's leading. We're getting Rhea Asuka next week, and we're kind of just leading up to the January 5th stuff. But Maxine Dupree, her first title defense against Ivy Nile. I think my takeaway, was one. Where was that crowd for that? The crowd should have been way louder for Maxine. She looks so good with that belt. I love the all black fit coming off of this is the first time we're seeing her coming off of those video packages with Natty. Still no Natty. My takeaway from this was I didn't love the match. I didn't think these two really clicked. I think there was a lot of chemistry, but there's so much potential and so much to work off of. Like I don't think the her doing the again and another one in the video packages worked great, and people in the chat were instantly saying, I'm curious how she's going to translate that to in ring live in person. She tried it out, like Ivy would hit her and she would yell again. I think there's something there. I don't think it clicked this match, but that's not to say like that there's something there. Like keep trying, work at it. And and again, like she's busting out new moves. She hit like whatever the fuck this like almost like a over the shoulder pile driver fucking thing was, whatever it was. That was cool. New submission moves from Maxine we've seen. So like I said, so much good in this match. That I'm excited to see them expand upon and explore more with Maxine. It's kind of my takeaway from it. I don't know where you are.
I think if we get more of like these women's, mid-card title matches where we are seeing the progression of a very young in-ring competitor that's still kind of pretty much learning on the fly. It's kind of her gimmick is that she's learning from 99 Hard. I enjoyed it. I think probably my favorite kip up I've ever seen ever.
Oh, and like the camera zooming with her getting up. Yeah, really shot well.
So regardless, so good. I think she will have better matches and I mean, are we going to get Natty at some point in her glory?
So.
I think we might be building up to it eventually because I think the person to take that title off Maxine, which I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but it could be Natty. So
yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah. Like a little turn of like, okay, and that's kind of what they were like looking at in the vignette, or maybe it's like okay, like now you have to face me. Like now the master has become the whatever, the apprentice is all grown up, or I don't know, whatever.
And then maybe it starts off like a respectful, sparring match, but then, I taught you everything but I never taught you everything I know. And maybe Natty
still got something in my back pocket.
Yeah, maybe Natty kind of gets, a little aggressive and maybe cheats. I don't know. But I think Natty would be a perfect women's IC champ. So little tip of the cap to her.
I agree. All right, I'm sure there's stuff that we left off, but I'm curious to go to wrestler / match of the week. I'm admittedly kind of like making my mind up now. I had some stuff in mind, but also, and we talk about this off pod, there's no perfect day to record. There's no perfect day to put this podcast out because, like, I do like to be as fresh off the weekend and raw as we can, even though this does end up now coming out on a Wednesday. But that does end up, like, Dynamite stuff is now, like, a week old. But Dynamite was cool. We got our inaugural AEW Women's Tag Champs. The Babes of Wrath defeat the Timeless Love Bombs. I guess I'm kind of transitioning. Wrestler / match of the week, also tapping into some Dynamite stuff. I love this. I am so glad. I love the Timeless Love Bombs. I'm so glad the Babes of Wrath won. I think they're so deserving. Willow, obviously, like, needless to say, but also a Harley Cameron, someone who's worked her ass off, like, character-wise and improving in ring. Seeing the emotion on her face winning these titles. Loved it. And then Tony and Mina kind of just, their respects and, like, good match and whatever. And, yeah, love this. That was great.
Shocking outcome. As someone that's a massive Harley Cameron fan, I did not think that her and Willow would be the ones walking away with the titles. Of course, Tony is one of the best characters in wrestling, so I thought for sure. And her storyline with Mina is just legit a love story, and it's like, whoa,
yeah,
why it makes so much sense for them to be tag team champions. But I love shocking victories, and I'm a fan of all 4 of these women, so it was great to see.
And you know what also is, speaking of, staying around the realm of the AEW women's division, and this is something that I feel like we have definitely speculated on for a while and have kind of been anticipating, but are we starting the downfall of Mercedes Moné?
Oh, yes. I think so, man.
I think it's going to be a beautiful fall from grace. She just lost the ROH TV title or whatever it is back to Red Velvet. Mm-hmm. I believe we saw her win.
Yes.
In front row, baby. So I think she's going to be slowly descending into madness, losing these matches. I mean, we're coming off of her not being able to get the title off of Stat, then losing that ROH title. So I think we're slowly going to start seeing, I don't know if she may have lost a smaller title also. I don't fully know. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be so sick. I do think she should get the AEW Women's title eventually, but this is a perfect way to get, these dozen or 14, whatever, belts off her. And I think they're doing it in a beautiful way. I'm excited to continuously see, like, losing her belts, her get weaker and descend into madness. I think it's really cool what they're about to do.
Descend to madness until probably that madness will maybe ultimately lead her to the one title that has eluded her, and which will be the AEW World title, and she will probably be a great champion. So, but that's down the road. She's definitely a cornerstone in AEW.
Yeah. And then, definitely... speaking of AEW, which we're last time, I'm kind of lumping all this in with match and wrestler of the week. And the reason I wanted to refresh my memory of what happened a week ago, because God knows I don't have that memory. But Dynamite was really good last week, and I think it's shaping up. We can also do a preview in a second of what's going on, what would be tonight. This coming out Wednesday. But my match of the week, and this is a popular pick. This isn't the well, it's a sexy pick, but it's not the ooh. My match of the week does go to Speedball Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher. This match rocked. This was so sick. As someone who is still pretty new to Mike Bailey and have really only seen him since he's debuted in AEW and a lot of his tag stuff with Kevin Knight, this match was so good. These two young stars. It's my match of the week. 100%.
Hell yeah. I'm going kind of a lazy one. You want to hear more about Gunther and John Cena, guys? I'm just doing that because, that's the match that resonated with me the most.
Yep.
And then also in the same vein, it's because it's the last time I'm going to be able to do this, I guess. Maybe not, because, again, we always kind of make the junction of, like, if you watch, like, a 20-year-old pay-per-view, that could be your match of the week, because we like to hear your guys' match of the week, too.
Absolutely.
But I'm going Gunther John Cena, as much as cliche fair. It is or lazy it is. But, that's what I'm going with.
100%. Yeah. So to wrestler of the week, I want to pick John. But he lost.
He did.
John Cena lost.
Yep.
You know who made John Cena tap is my wrestler of the week, Gunther.
Now I hate you.
Gunther's my wrestler of the week. And fully, like, this could have gone. I was pretty close to choosing the tag match with Javon and Slater. I thought that rocked. It needed, like, it was Saturday's main event. It needed, like, 8 more minutes at minimum.
And titles on the line.
Sure. And then also I was kind of thinking of, like, a Sol Ruka could have fully been a wrestler of the week. But I'm going full kayfabe here, or full power rankings kayfabe, I should say. Picking Gunther. What are you thinking?
Big Gunther. I'm going John Cena.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Mark. I guess that'd be the opposite. Mm-hmm. That's solid. Yeah, I am always curious to hear people's wrestlers and match of the week. The thing that stinks is, like, I think especially when we post on Instagram, it's like What the hell is the timeline here? Because I posted the day after the podcast, which then ends up being on like a Thursday.
Right.
And then people are like,
you didn't watch that Dynamite match last night? It's like, well, that's
and
not
that's for the next week.
And then
and
by the time I pick in my match, I might have forgotten that match. It's the whole thing with Dynamite. So, but one discussion though, I may not like to put out there, but like, one thing I've been thinking of too, with like the fact that we put our podcast on Wednesdays and we're also trying to build our own channels, is like maybe I should kind of dive into Dynamite and AEW content on my own channel a bit.
I've also had that thought.
Yeah. But, I mean, of course, like, AEW stuff doesn't always do the best, but like again, I'm very much in tune to AEW recently, and it's good stuff. So, and the kind of classics hyping up, and then of course right now the December month, and like things kind of slow down in terms of wrestling altogether. We still have World's End to look forward to, which is shaping up to be a big card. I think we have it's been announced perhaps of a Samoa Joe versus Hangman for a swerve for the AEW World Title. So that's going to be all time. Again, we're talking about match of the year, and it's unfortunate because that probably one of the more last matches of the year. Will it be able to be in the statues? No, but like your personal match of the year, I mean, maybe.
So that's the thing. Yeah. Again, it's tough with the voting time frame. Is this John Cena Gunther match, even for like stuff like moment of the year, match of the year, that's going to count toward the 2026 Stache Awards.
Absolutely.
As well as World's End and all that stuff. So folks, keep in mind for a year from now. But to look at, I do want to preview Dynamite to close out the show.
Cool.
But to look at what we have officially for World's End, you are right. We have Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page, triple threat for the AEW World Championship. That's going to rock. Then we have Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW Women's Championship. That's going to be great too. Then we have...
Give it to Jamie!
Yeah, I fuck with Jamie. Semifinal number 1 winner versus semifinal number 2 winner of the Continental Classic. And then we have... this is all confusing to look at. We have Gold League runner-up versus Blue League runner-up, and then also another... All right, so it looks like we're concluding the Continental Classic, or maybe, concluding at World's End, right? That makes sense. Okay, interesting. Okada Takeshita is what I'm looking at.
What a banger that will be.
Did Tony post the preview? What's tomorrow? December 17th? Okay, we have...
Just call him up.
Hey, Tone.
I mean, we're getting chirped by Ricochet. We're front row. We're practically in the company at this point.
He's in our back, or we're in his back pocket, or whatever. Wow, Dynamite's stacked. Okay, holy shit. We have Kyle Fletcher versus Pac. That's gonna be crazy.
Oh, it's a 3-hour special. You're telling me?
Oh, it's a collision. It's a okay. I was like, that's why there's so many fucking matches. John Moxley versus Roddy Strong, gonna be real dad energy, punching each other. Mascara Dorada versus Orange Cassidy, fun. We have contract signing; those always go smoothly.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Swerve, Joe, and Hangman. What is this? Big holiday bash tag. Looks like we got Mercedes with Athena, Marina, Shafir, and Megan Bain versus the Babes of Wrath with Timeless Love Bombs. That's fun. Some tag team action there. We got FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang with one of the Guns. My guess is this is Austin.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
You can't tell them apart. You don't know what you're talking
Colton's
about.
the one that kind of looks like he kind of has like a rectangle head kind of.
With a person who I can't recognize year to year, Juice Robinson. I'm glad he has the beard back though. Like I said, they're taking on FTR for the titles. That's fun. Then we have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal happening. Whoa.
I mean, there's only been one man to ever win that match 5 times, I believe is the number. So is he going to be making an appearance? I mean, it is. Hanukkah was yesterday, so I mean,
probably do you get a title match with that, or do you just get the ring?
I
never really know.
I think you just get the ring. And is it 2 where it's the final 2 in the Battle Royal, then face off in a match next week, I think is the actual, or the winner of the match faces the guy who won it last year. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
AEW's cool. Like, I like things like that where they keep into the history of like a certain like match like that. But I don't know. Again, here I am not exactly remembering it right. So,
and then we have $1 million or 750,000 euros. Winner takes all trios with the Elite versus the Don Callis family. Speaking of that, you know what I brushed up upon? I just kind of fell in a rabbit hole. I watched the history of the Bullet Club from... I didn't go as far back to when it started, but I was from when... I think it was before Cody joined. it was after Finn. I think it was when Kenny kicks AJ out, and I kind of watched the history like from there, and then like which like I was aware of like a lot of it, but it was interesting to just watch it like fully like laid out like I don't know, timeline wise. And then like Cody, I know this is like, I know I'm talking about like Bullet Club lore, like 10, 12 years later or whatever the fuck it was. But like, dude, Cody coming in like, ooh, like threatening Kenny, and then him, finally giving up. Okay, I'm not the leader. He never became the leader. Apparently, AJ Styles claims to have never been the leader. Jay White coming in and was gonna be in Bullet Club, and then it's like, no, fuck you, Kenny, I'm not in Bullet Club. And then joins Bullet Club, and then Kenny gets kicked out, and the Elite end up leaving. It's like, it was so fucking. I just like got down a rabbit hole of just like, let me just get a refresh of everything that happened. It was sick. It was fun.
You fucking Mark.
For life.
For life.
That's
awesome though. That's actually a complete blind spot. And like when Cena called AJ Styles like the greatest of all time, recently in an interview, I was like, man, like, yeah, he's probably right. And it's pretty crazy to me too, where I had AJ Styles in my most recent video, top 25 wrestlers of all time. I really have not watched a lick of AJ Styles in New Japan, and he had a whole thing over there. Like,
and you know who's a co-founder? Fucking Tama Tonga. Do you know that?
No.
What? He's an original So he, again, something I found interesting. They are almost the MFT face paint. They're almost copying. So the when Bullet Club was starting to split, it ended up being like two sides. This is like it's kind of far down the line when people like it when it was kind of like not as cool, but it started to split. It was like the OGs versus like the newer guys, and they were kind of having like they had a Bullet Club civil war, which was like that was like the big final blow off. Obviously, Bullet Club is still a thing, but OG members, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, OG, and they had the I think when they became like the separate but same, they used the face paint. So like the MFT face paint is like kind of
an ode to that,
an ode to Bullet Club face paint, which I haven't heard people talk about. But it is so like mind blowing to see Tama Tonga and Tongaloa just like as these like goons behind Sol Sikoa, just like whatever on SmackDown,
very secondary characters.
And it's like, oh, these guys form Bullet Club, obviously with like Carl Anderson and Finn and whatever, but like these guys are the founders of Bullet Club. It's crazy. I know I'm talking. People are listening to this are like we know, but like it's funny to get reminded of that and look back. It was cool. Wild.
I'm fascinated.
All right, folks, that's going to be the show. We're going to jump over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. We have a bunch of your questions we're going to answer over there. It's going to be a good time. So head over there. Again, follow us on everything. Have our separate YouTube channels, all that stuff in the description, as well as our socials. Again, also we talk about off camera. Our CENA reaction almost is at like 500,000 on Instagram. That shit's nuts. I can't believe a bunch of people saw me let out that gasp. Absolutely crazy. I'm
glad that one's going viral, not the one
about the tears one. Yeah. That's funny. All right, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. We'll see you next week. I'll see you all week on the channel. And until then, bid you adieu. Mwah bang, I guess would be appropriate to end this. See you next time. Peace.
Stay curious.
Mick Foley has announced that he is parting ways with WWE due to the company's relationship with Donald Trump.
I feel like he kind of took a bit light on Cena with chops, which, like, good for you. No one's talking about the Vince inclusion.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. Shin's a fucking sniper with the camera.